Hey, Pre-AP Geometry, it's Miss Green here. We're in week 8 of online learning. You're going to need to sign up for IXL if you haven't already done so in order to complete some practice problems, so make sure you do that. If you have any questions about IXL, please contact your teacher. And come see me in Zoom because I miss you all. Anyway, so today we're going to use completing the square in order to convert equations of circles to standard form. And if you recall, the standard form of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus q squared equals r squared, where the center is hk and the radius is r. So there's the standard form of equation of a circle. And to start off, I just selected an SAT problem I found on one of the released tests, and yes, it's on there. It says, what is the equation in standard form of a circle with the equation x squared plus y squared plus 14y minus 1 equals 0? So I need to take the equation that they gave me and convert it to the standard form of the equation so I can figure out which answer is correct. And to do that, I'm going to be using completing the square. So the first thing that you need to do is group all the like terms together. So any terms that have an x, you're going to group them together. Any terms that have a y, you're going to group them together. And then move the constant to the other side of the equation using the addition or subtraction property of equality. So if I did that, I would end up with x squared plus y squared plus 14y equals 1, because I ended up adding 1 to both sides of the equation. Now I have something that looks kind of like the standard form, but not quite. And the x squared is just fine because it would be actually x minus 0 quantity squared. But what I need to do is I need to address this part of the equation. I need to be able to add something to this left side of the equation and the right side of the equation that would complete that square. And so if I did that, what I would do is I would still have x squared plus y squared plus 14y. In order to complete the square, I'm going to take half of 14, which is 7, and square it, which is 49, and add that. And then whatever you do to the left-hand side of an equation, you have to do to the right-hand side of the equation. Okay, so now I'm ready to write this equation in standard form. Once again, the x squared just stays right where it is. And then I'm going to factor this, and it would be y plus 7 squared. And then 1 plus 49 is 50. So I took this equation that they gave me and I converted it to the standard form equation of a circle by completing the square. And so your answer, you can see, is letter C. We have 2 more examples to do. So let's go to number 2. In number 2, it says write the equation in standard form of a circle given this equation. And then they want us to identify the center and the radius. So once again, you group the x terms together, you group the y terms together, and using the addition or subtraction property of equality, you move any constants to the other side of the equal sign. So they already have that for us, so we can just simply write x squared plus 6x. And then I'm going to add something in order to complete that square, plus y squared plus 8y, and then I'm going to add something to complete that square. And then you have negative 9, which was already there, and then I have to add those 2 terms again to the right-hand side of the equation. So if I complete the square with the x terms, half of 6 is 3, and 3 squared is 9. If I complete the square for the y terms, half of 8 is 4, and 4 squared is 16. And then you add those 2 terms to the other side of the equation in order to keep it true. So then you factor, and we have x plus 3 squared plus y plus 4 squared equals, well, the 9 and negative 9 is 0, so you're left with 16 on the right-hand side. And so the center of the circle is negative 3, negative 4. And the radius, remember, r squared equals 16. So r equals the square root of 16 if you take the square root of both sides. And so the square root of 16 is 4. So r equals 4. Okay, for number 3, it says identify the center and the radius of the circle given by the equation x squared plus y squared plus 8x minus 6y minus 7 equals 0. So the first thing you are going to do is group the x's together, group the y's together, and move the constant to the other side of the equal sign. So x squared and 8x I'm going to group together. And I know that I'm going to be completing the square, so I'm just going to leave a blank there. And then I'm going to group the y squareds together, or the y terms together rather. And I know I'm going to be adding something to complete the square. And then if you added 7 to both sides of the equation, you get 7. And then plus 2 terms that I added to the left-hand side, I also have to add to the right-hand side. So for the first group, I take half of 8, which is 4, and square it, which is 16. And for the second group, I take half of negative 6, which is negative 3. And when I square negative 3 times negative 3, that's positive 9. And then you're adding 16 and 9 to the right-hand side of the equation also to keep it true. Now I'm ready to write this equation in standard form. This group right here I can factor as x plus 4 squared. And this group right here I can factor, there's a hair on my screen, sorry, y minus 3 squared. So if you checked it, negative 3 plus negative 3 is negative 6, and negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9, so it's y minus 3. And then on the right-hand side of the equation, I have 32. So the center of this circle is negative 4, positive 3. And if r squared equals 32, if I take the square root of both sides of the equation, r equals the positive square root of 32, because radius are always, length is always positive. And then if I simplified this radical number, the perfect square, 16 is a factor of 32, and then the square root of 16 is 4. So the radius is 4 square root of 2. So you have this circle has a center at negative 3, or negative 4, positive 3, and a radius of 4 square root of 2. Okay, so those are the 3 examples that you have for converting equations to standard form and then finding the center and the radius using that information. There are some practice problems on IXL. Please contact me if you have any questions, or just come and see me in Zoom at 2 o'clock. I'd love to see you all. Have a great week.